What's up, guys? Welcome into the Packers Total Access pregame show. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. We've got Tim live in Green Bay. Got the spooky setting behind him, baby. It's fall, y'all. And we got Jacob in the house. Jacob sporting the old throwback Packers. I like that hat there, man. That's pretty nice. Thanks, man. I guess that's considered throwback, right?
Yeah, that looks like the old school. That looks like the 90s hat. Late 80s, early 90s type of Packer hat. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
It still hurts my soul to refer to the 1990s as throwback. You know what I mean? It's like,
right. Oh, we're getting old, man.
I know what all the hippies were talking about the 70s now, man. We're there. We have made it. So, anyway, I know we got everybody in the chat. It's absolutely lit up in here already. Bunch of people tuning in. Appreciate y'all making us part of your pregame festivities. Adam's got a special request here, if you would, Tim. Adam said,
the Packers are going to win today.
Heard it from a fan right here.
There you go.
That's all I need right there.
Hey, listen, I'm all about it this week.
Bon dia.
Good morning.
So, obviously, we have got a hell of a tailgating set up over there today. Tim sent these shots from Lot 1, correct, Tim?
Lot 1, yeah, Lot 1. My mom's in town, stepdad's in town, got some family friends in town. The infamous Lot 1 tailgate crew in town as always. Shout out to Spencer all the way from Iowa, bringing the Packer van out, and they go all out, man. They bring a full bar, like an actual physical bar, not just some tables. It's pretty awesome, man. So, if you haven't been to a Lot 1 tailgate, you're missing out. Make sure you check it out for sure.
Anytime I'm in town for a game, I try to make my rounds, right, all around kind of within 100-yard radius of Lambeau just to see what's going on. This is the spot every time, man, every time. Yep. I've got the coolest video of, I think it was AC/DC blasting on somebody's boom box outside, and they're cutting up steak in the parking lot, and it's colder than a well digger's rear end. It was unbelievable, man, just the whole vibe out there. People drunk dancing the whole 9 yards, and it's close enough, Tim, that you can have you a couple shots and then stagger yourself into the stadium, right? You can still make your way up them steps. Might have to crawl up the steps. But you can
no, it's perfect. The Oneida gate is right there up the steps. You can walk it off on your way in, and then get to your seat just in time to have a $12 beer inside Lambeau Field, and you'll enjoy the day. It's all a part of the tradition up here. You got to love it.
Unless you're like Jacob and you're smuggling those natty ice, you know what I mean? Just get any way you can. I don't know. Is natty ice a thing up there, guys?
Unfortunately, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so
it's a thing everywhere, Clayton. And Busch lattes as well.
I used to have my favorite was either Milwaukee's Best, the Beast, or Keystone, or isn't that it? Keystone Light.
What do you know about that 99% alcohol content Ice House? What do you know about that?
That's rough too. That's rough.
There's so many marriages that were ruined by Ice House, man. There's no doubt. But appreciate the pictures you sent over though, Tim. Those are awesome, dude. Let's see here. We got some other folks too. I thought this was a really cool setup here. Just some cool tailgating shots. And yeah, Jacob, if you'll kind of keep up, like I said, with the chat for us, mark anything that you want read on there. Keep an eye out for the super chats. Tyler, it's at Palm Trees or Bust on Twitter, said, not a bad view while tailgate. Look at my man sitting there, dude. Let's go.
That's
right there. So this is obviously on the atrium side, right? That's the Lombardi clock that always runs 15 minutes early. Is that the atrium side? It is, right, Tim?
Yeah, they're on the northeast corner of Lombardi Avenue and Ridge Road, it looks like.
Yeah. So you got Titletown just to your right off camera there, right?
Exactly. Yep.
There you go. Love it, man.
Clayton, I don't want to step on your toes or nothing, but we've got some interesting questions and announcements in the chat.
Cool.
Can we dive into that, or is that something that maybe you were going to get into there?
Give me 30 seconds. I want to maybe a little longer than 30 seconds. I want to hit a couple of these tailgating scenes here. Really, really cool. Obviously, we got Paul Brettel in the house. We'll be keeping up with him. Make sure you're following him today for all your updates during the game. Keep those marked, Jacob. We're going to get right back to it, I promise. I thought this was cool. I think this was on the Vikings side. His name's Chris Hawkey. I think I'm saying that right. Not Hawk Tua, but Hawkey. And said from the Lambeau Field visiting locker room on the field. So this is from K-Fan right here. Nice drop, Tim. Let's see what he had to say on Twitter.
Let's take a trip from the locker room to the field at Lambeau.
They can act like they hate it all they want, boys, but they love this stadium. And by the way, I was told the reason they added the steps in, or the reason they designed it this way, was so the team has to go down those steps and back up them at halftime, back down them.
Yep.
It's a little bit of an edge, right? Look how long this walk is.
Look how tight the corridor is, too.
Yeah.
I just love the green carpet, too.
Yeah.
I feel like you're in your grandma's basement in the 70s.
Nothing on the walls, nothing spectacular. I love it.
And this is the old tunnel the players used to use.
Exposed pipes.
Yes.
Yep.
So here we go.
The maintenance shack there on the left.
That's right.
That's hilarious.
Look at this place right here, man. Oh, love it, dude. I just
beautiful view, man. Walking
never
in.
Gets old. Never gets old.
What's the over-under on Aaron Jones inadvertently running to the wrong sideline when he comes out of there?
Right.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah. Really, really cool video. Again, shout out to @Chris_hockey for that video. I thought that was really, really cool. Another quick setup here. This one came in from 97.3 The Game, just showing the tailgate. What's this walk called, Tim, when you go from it's kind of from the practice facility? They've got kind of the walk.
Yeah, that's Armed Forces Drive.
Armed Forces
right
Drive.
In between Rainitsky Field and the Resch Center as you walk up, and then you've got the Veterans Memorial.
Yeah, we got the volume down a little bit. We don't want to get hit with a copyright off of third-party music here, but check it out.
Yeah, if you look to your right there, that's kind of Bart Starr Plaza. There's the Bart Starr statue over there. So there's always a lot of tailgate activity over here, too. That's one of the cool things about Lot 1. You know, Lot 1's just at the other end there. So you're you get that main drag. Armed Forces Drive is kind of the main drag from Stadium View Bar there all the way up to Lambeau Field.
Definitely. And right here, Jacob, pretty sure this is where we tailgated last year.
I was just going to say, yeah, that looks familiar.
Yep. That's where our tailgate party was. It was absolutely awesome. 2 years ago now. But, yeah, pretty cool setup there, though. Obviously, everybody filing into Lambeau. Go ahead, Jacob. Let's hit that chat real quick. Let's get caught up on it, and then we'll dive into some other stuff.
Real quick, do you remember we were walking either to the stadium or from the stadium? I can't remember because I was drinking. And remember there was a random Vikings, or I think it was a guy in a Bears jersey, and he was just tossing out beers. And I was like, "Can I get one of them?" And he just threw one at me. I'm like, "Oh, thanks, man." I was like, "I never thought."
It's hilarious. I was waiting outside at the entrance for Jacob, and I'm like, "Where's he at?" And all of a sudden, we'd never met before, and I hear screaming from 100 yards away, "Player!" And I was like, "Oh God, he's already sauced." Go ahead, Jake. What you got?
All right, so we got some breaking news going on here, and so Matthew Perez says Love is officially starting, but I did see a comment after that said we still may see some Malik Willis or something like that. So I don't know if that's official. Was going to see maybe if you guys have heard. Is he officially active? Is he ready to go? Tim, you got anything on that?
I don't know, but I'll tell you that I saw Malik Willis this morning on his way into the facility. It just happened to be right place, right time. He was rolling up in his black AMG Mercedes-Benz, rolling in style to the stadium, and I don't think anyone really recognized him. But I got a look, and we got a little wave in. So we said good morning to QB2. I will tell you, it looked like he was getting there a little late. So I don't know how much in the game plan he's going to be involved in today. I certainly know that was well after we saw Jordan Love walking into the facility. So maybe Malik was just running late this morning. But, yeah, I don't know. There could be packages, dialed up for him. We could see a little, Clayton had suggested previously maybe, a tandem kind of approach, regardless of who starts this game. We might see some in and outs.
That's my contention. That's what I think is going to happen. But at least have some packages. At least throw them out there one or two times just to make the defense be like, oh, God, what are they doing?
Think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I think in the red zone, too, I think there's a chance of it, right? But it's all going to come down to how the game flows, too. If Jordan comes out.
Slinging it.
Slinging it, and we jump up to an early lead somehow, some way, I think you'll probably just stay with 10 and roll with it, right?
Yep.
Go ahead, Nick.
Mr. Fred Mick Farley says, are the inactives announced yet? We're going to follow that up with a big announcement here from Mr. Adam K. I'm not going to try that name, bro. Sorry. Because Jair, what was that?
Kazmirasek?
That's pretty good. Jair inactive. Wonder what happened. Oof.
Groin. He tweaked the groin at practice this week. Is
the worst, right?
Yep.
Here we got I've actually got the full inactive list, Jacob. You want me to hit it real quick?
Let's do it. Yeah, and just in addition to that, Coach Len says, looks like no Ja. We will be okay. Ballantyne is on. I'm excited to see Ballantyne. Obviously, I don't ever want to have Jair get hurt, but we've dove into those stats. Ballantyne he's good. He's good at what he does.
Yeah, and again, this isn't a big shock to us when you call up 2 corners from the practice squad, right? And then all of a sudden Jair's listed as doubtful. I mean, the writing was on the wall. Of course, there was a chance that he'd get to the stadium and say, no, I want to play. But here we go. Ryan Wood, full Packers inactive versus the Vikings. Cornerback, Jair Alexander. Cornerback, Carrington Valentine. So, Tim, you called that one last night. Safety, Catano Ladapo. We got defensive line, Brenton Cox Jr. That's actually a good thing. That means all the edge defenders are really healthy right now, right? You know, Brenton Cox is kind of that guy that if somebody's a little banged up, call him up. So, tackle guard Jordan Morgan, no surprise there. Tackle Travis Glover is inactive. And then defensive lineman Kobe Wooden inactive. It says it'll be Eric Stokes and Corey Ballantyne on the perimeter of the Packers defense today. So looked like he said Passickers, but that's all right. We knew what he meant, right? At Ryan Wood there with that information. So we'll give him a follow. Shout out to him. Appreciate dropping that knowledge on us. So how we feeling about it, boys? To me, no big surprise, right? Again, last year, Corey Ballantyne shut Justin Jefferson down, came away with an interception there on New Year's Eve. Now, listen, if you're saying, Clayton, would you rather have Corey Ballantyne or Jair Alexander? I want Jair on the field, obviously. But I don't think this is like a crazy, huge blow. And the other thing, too, for the people that are probably taking it the hardest, they're going, but I want Jair to travel. I want him to travel with man coverage of Justin Jefferson. Guys, I'm telling you, man, Jair's man coverage this year, only 3 games, it struggled bad. So it's not like that's a huge thing we're going to be missing this year. If anything, it's probably been one of maybe 2 or 3 things that slowed the defense down. Other than that, I mean, if you take away all the explosives that Ja gave up in man coverage week 1, this defense looks a lot better in overall yardage and everything. So, again, I want Ja on the field, but I never did really buy into that whole Jair needs to travel with Justin Jefferson thing. So I'm excited about it. How do you guys feel about it? Are you worried about it, Jacob? It kind of caught your eye first here.
I was more surprised, I guess, with certain things. Are you guys at all starting to get worried about Catano Ladapo? Because minus the fact that we have 2 DBs that are out, him also being sat out, or the fact that Kevin King apparently did not get called up. It sounds like the 2 that did, according to Omer, would be Robert Rochelle, which you guys know I love him. And interesting one there, Kamal Haddon, who was a late signing, who I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Clayton, I think we highlighted that kid because he was a Tennessee boy, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Yeah, he was really low on my board. However, I think it was the Chiefs that drafted him and then cut him. What it tells me is they like Haddon better than King, right? I mean, there's no other way of looking at that.
Right.
To the best of my knowledge, Kalen King hasn't been on the injury report at all, right? Have I overlooked that, Tim? He hasn't been on the injury report at all, right? King?
No, he hasn't. Ron Sandville bringing up a good point, though. You know, maybe they look at Kalen King is more of just a true slot, and he hasn't found his way to the field yet, mainly because Keyshawn's really been holding it down in the slot for us. And it could also, speak to, maybe his grasp of the scheme and playing defense in the NFL versus doing it in college. Some guys, it takes them longer to make the leap and catch up to, the NFL system and the NFL speed.
Very true. You got anything else, Jacob?
Just Coach Len commenting right now and just being like, yeah, it's basically going to be a redshirt year for Catano Ladapo. And unfortunately, I kind of called that out when the guy started training camp on the injury bug. It's just, they're so hard to overcome that and actually be productive, especially when you have so many other guys that are playing really, really well at that position. So I think that's a good point there by Coach Len.
Yeah, something else to point out that we caught when we were kind of game planning for the Vikings is worth noting. Justin Jefferson has absolutely crushed man coverage this year. He struggled against zone. So I'm leaning toward more zone coverage, obviously. Now, you got to keep an eye on him. You'd be crazy not to. But, so just keep that in mind. We're running a crap ton of cover 3. We're running a lot of cover 3, a lot of cover 6. If I remember correctly, actually, I got the graphic here. Let me pull it up real quick because I don't want to misinform you guys. Let's see here. So when it comes to the top coverages for the Packers defense so far this year, 32% of the time they're in a cover 3 zone, okay? 19% of the time cover 1, then 17% of the time cover 6, which is the combination of cover 4 and cover 2. And then 12% of the time you're in cover 4 or cover 2. So you can see it's only 20% of the time the Packers are running man coverage. So you may even see that number dip a little bit more in order to keep Sam Darnold uncomfortable trying to force the ball to Justin Jefferson, with Justin Jefferson's numbers being so low against zone coverage. Now, listen, they got the same tape we got. They're looking at the same thing. They may try to exploit it too.
What do you think about this take here by Omer? Because the only thing that I see that is getting me a little bit pessimistic, or making my mind go that way, is Aaron Jones' revenge game. And if there is something that I think would help that out, like Omer says, he says we're going to be playing zone today if we want to negate Justin Jefferson, like you just talked about, who's been just thrashing people man to man. Well, if we go into that zone predominantly, then that leads us to be more exposed to Aaron Jones just absolutely crushing us.
Actually the opposite.
You think that's not true?
Totally the opposite. Man coverage is way, way more vulnerable against running than zone coverage. Zone coverage, your eyes are on the ball. Man coverage, you're focused on your work. You're mirroring. What it does is it allows the corners to be a little more involved, like what Eric Stokes has been this year, what Keyshawn Nixon's been this year. That's what zone coverage allows you to do. With man, you're focused on your technique, mirror match. Is it press? Most of the time,
you got your back to the quarterback in the backfield.
Bingo.
It's a lot more difficult to get picked on one of those pick routes when you're in the zone versus being in man. So.
And I guess maybe Omer didn't specify. Maybe he thinks that Jones would cut us up in the passing game. You know what I mean? That way. But I can
see that. Yeah. That might be there.
What do you think? So Darnold, I was trying to sneak in Ryan's podcast this morning, and according to Ryan, if I'm not mistaken, he basically said that Darnold's gotten worse each game. He's statistically, he still looks pretty good on paper, but as far as his performance, I think his grades, he's kind of slowly regressed. Do you think that now this game being, I think, again, this is one of the first times that we're going to get to see our explosive offensive or defensive line. We just talked about how our edges are crazy good. Our interior D-line are very good at rushing the quarterback. I think Sam Darnold is by far the less mobile quarterback we've faced this year, correct? I mean, by far.
Yeah, hands down, he's the least mobile, no doubt. When you look at his statistics, though, if you'll drop that chat down there for me, Jake, when you get a chance, Buff. Sam Darnold, week 1, 19 of 24 for 208, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. All right, week 2 against San Francisco, great defense. Pretty much the same, 17 of 26, 268, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And then against Houston, which I think is just as good, probably not as good, but close to the same type of defense as San Francisco. They're the same scheme. They got dominant pass rushers on each end with Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson. He lit them up, 17 to 28, 181 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Now, obviously not a lot of yards, but protected the football well, got 4 touchdown passes. The 4 touchdown passes on only 181 yards and 17 completions. That is a little bit inflated. You can see that most of his touchdowns, I think 3 of his touchdowns came like inside the 10. And what they like to run is a lot of spot mesh down there inside the red zone. So just something to keep your eye on there. But as far as he's gotten worse, I haven't looked at the PFF grades. They may think he has, and they could be right. When I turn on the tape, the thing I notice about Sam Darnold is he's playing within the scheme, and he's really, really leaning on Aaron Jones, right? And that's smart because in that style of offense, not just Aaron Jones, but look at Ty Chandler in, I think this was week 2 against San Francisco. I mean, that dude ran for 10 carries, 82 yards.
Yeah,
so
good.
They're leaning on the run, taking what they're getting. They're playing the Kyle Shanahan Kubiak system absolutely by the book is what they're doing, and trying to protect the football. Now, he had a couple of opportunities. I think it was Michael Lombardi talking about, had a couple opportunities to pick him off, and I think he fumbled one time in the red zone, but they were able to recover it. So there are going to be turnover opportunities. Here's the thing. If the defensive line that showed up in the Tennessee game for the Packers shows up today, Sam Darnold's going to be adjusting his chin strap all day long.
I was just going to say that because last game where he quote unquote played well, he had 28 pass attempts. He had 4 sacks. Both tackles gave up a sack, and then 2 on the interior offensive line as well. And like you just said, Clayton, our guys are coming, man. They're got a fire lit underneath them. We held Pollard to 2.3 yards per carry last week. Jones, like you were talking about, he's balling out though as well. He had 19 carries for 102, averaging, I think it's like 5.2 or 5.3. It's going to be an interesting matchup. And I think that we, like Teresa just said right here, we need 8 sacks. I was going to say we need pressure. We need a lot of pressure. And Darnold, I think, has been excelling on some of those shorter throws, the checkdowns. He's basically all the targets on this offense are basically Justin Jefferson and Jones, and then a few that are scattered to random people. I mean, if you can figure out a way, usually I don't want, obviously Jair's not playing, but like we talked about, you don't necessarily want to focus in on Justin Jefferson. We've done pretty well at limiting him the last few games that we've played without, throwing the absolute book at him. And I think a guy maybe like Ballentine or Stokes, their skill set, I think, is maybe a little better to match up with a guy like Justin Jefferson, especially with
Xavier McKinney and Javon Bullard just backing them up.
Thank you. Yep, that's exactly it.
So they're bracket the hell out of JJ all day and stop the run. It's the old cliche over and over again. Stop the damn run. You stop the run today, you win the football game. It's that simple.
That's it.
We're talking about Aaron Jones, so there's stopping is a kind of a flexible term here. If we can keep him under 100, that's going to be an accomplishment in and of itself. If we can keep him under 75 yards and limit him in the passing game, we have to be gap disciplined up front. Our linebackers have got to be on their P's and Q's today, and we got to make tackles in the open field too, because Jones will bounce a run outside, or he will find a seam. You've got to be able to bring him down. Tim,
do you think the key to this game, whether or not we win or lose, is whether or not our linebackers are able to tackle? Because
whether or not they're able to hit the right gap.
If they're not flat-footed, standing there in concrete. Yeah, I agree. Nick Swain Quick says Darnold the 7th most sacked right now in the NFL. That makes sense to me. Omer has a good point here, saying they are giving up pressure on almost 50% of their snaps. Wyatt and Kenny got to expose their weak interior. Kenny been struggling, but historically has balled against the Minnesota Vikings over the past years. I think that this would be a great coming out game for him. I think Rashawn Gary could have one of those sneaky games where the dude just is getting 3 sacks, something like that. You know what I mean? Some crazy game. And again, Devontae Wyatt. And I just hope these. Do you think it's finally the time that the coaches say we got to get Edgerrin Cooper on the field more? Because it just seems like every single time we watch him.
I'll tell you, when you look at run stop percentage, though, Eric Wilson's your guy.
Yeah,
that's the reality of the.
How about the Eric Wilson revenge game? Nobody's talking about that.
There you go. I like it. And here's the thing: they run 21 personnel 15% of the time. That's 6th most in the league. And their EPA when in 21 personnel is 0.01 EPA. That's 11th best in the league. So what they're going to try to do is they're going to run in this order: 11 personnel, 12 personnel, 21. And it's backwards with efficiency when it comes to EPA. 21 is more efficient than 12. 12 is more efficient than 11. And here's the thing: we might see the return of 2 gapping in this game. And the reason being, like Matt LaForce talked about, 2 backs equals 2 gaps. 1 back equals 1 gap. If they go 21 personnel, or anytime they do, what I would like to personally see is bring a backer up on the line of scrimmage and turn that 4-3 into a 5-man front. If you want to play it under, you want to play it over. Me personally, I would play it under, or not. I would play over and put the backer on the line of scrimmage off the will. And they love to run left. They love to run left. If you approach it that way with a 5-man front, and whether it's Quay on the line of scrimmage, Edgerrin Cooper on the line of scrimmage, I don't like McDuffie in that spot. I would want one of those 2 guys there, or Eric Wilson. That dude's got the bulk to handle it on the line of scrimmage if he needs to. You bring a 5-man front like that, and you try to encourage them. If you go to an over front, you're encouraging them to run left, okay? And as you can see here, that's what they like to do, all right? They ran left. That's where they're most effective here. 6 attempts, 41 yards outside left. 3 attempts, 28 yards outside left. That's for Aaron Jones week 1. Week 2, Ty Chandler. Now, he got a lot of success outside right, but for the most part, 6 carries on the left side there for him, as he had 10 carries for 82 yards total. Week 2 against San Francisco, Aaron Jones kind of got shut down. And look at this, guys. Inside left, 5 attempts, 14 yards. Once on the outside left, -2. Who did they play? San Francisco. San Francisco loves their wide 9 techs.
Yep.
So if you do shade it, if you try to go with the over front, and then you bring a backer up on the line of scrimmage to create that 5-man front, and you 2 gap out against 21 personnel, I would even cheat them a half a gap to the left, because that's where their bread and butter is the left. And then in passing situations, you turn the dogs loose, bring the pressure off the right side and put it in Darnold's face. He's not as comfortable throwing left. Aaron Jones in week 3, 19 carries, 102 yards. Again, look at the left, guys. Look at the left right here. So you're going to want to beef up the left side against their run. I would make Darnold beat you. That's what I would do. I'd load that box, And even if it's late rotation, I'd load that box. And,
give me some LVN in the wide 9 all day.
Ooh, yeah.
And the other thing about Justin Jefferson, I'll say this: everybody's like, "Oh no, we've been able to own him. We've owned him here of lately." We also had Joe Barry pre-snap shell coverage. That I'm telling you, man, pre-snap shell deters quarterbacks from looking for that shot play early in the snap. Like that's just the way that operates.
And then you can always drop the safety down post snap.
Yeah, I would, whatever side of the field Justin Jefferson's on, I would make sure that McKinney is on that side of the field. That's just me. If you're going to be playing a lot of cover 3, have him start on that side. That way, Sam Darnold has to look out there and see, shoot, that's X out there. Let's try to go in the opposite direction because my man's leading the league in interceptions. So again, if you look at the throw chart real quick with Darnold, look at the right side. He loves throwing right. That's where it's hot, right? That's where it's hot. Week 2, here's week 2 against San Fran. And then week 3 was a little more balanced, but he didn't take as many shots down the field, obviously, against Houston. So, that's kind of how I'm seeing that. So, again, when you look at what they like to do conceptually in the passing game, they're having the most success 1x3, which is trips and Trey Wright. Second best EPA in the league at 0.46 passing the football. 2x2 sets, third best in the league at 0.35 EPA, which is basically a balance, just a 2x2 set, and then a 2x1 set, not the best EPA in the league at 0.19. So go ahead, Jacob. What else? You got anything in the chat or no?
Yeah, I do. I was laughing because somewhere in there you were talking about coverages and assignments, and Coach Len says that's what we call a Jack Backer. And then Fred comes in and says, Jack Backer sounds like a TV police detective. We got to just disarm the bomb. It's Jack Backer. He's on the case. So anyways, I do have some chats here. Omer comes in and says, yes, Love is supposed to start according to several sources with the brace on. So we'll see if that brace hinders him whatsoever in the mobility. But I still think, you guys can call me crazy, I feel like there might be some packages. Like I said, LaFleur is just so – he seems like an offensive just mastermind, like an absolute evil villain when it comes to just being an offensive mastermind, to the point of I think he would just throw Malik out there for a few snaps just to make Brian be like, what are they doing that? What are they going to do there? And then Matthew Perez comes in and says, Buller's first pick today. I'm calling it right now. I love that. You know that I love my Bullard. So I love that a lot. This is, I think, maybe the most important chat of the day that we have not talked about enough. Fractal of God says, cut the penalties today, please, for the love of the Lord. I added that last part, but I mean, it has been ugly to the point of where the amount of yards that we've lost in each of these wins and in these games could have easily determined the outcome of the game had they went a little bit even worse. But if we can clean that up, specifically, I'm looking at Rasheed Walker today. Please don't have 4 penalties. All right. It's getting harder and harder to defend your play because I think that he's a great tackle. He's just a little sloppy right now.
I'd be willing to just about bet the farm that the Packers are going to have less penalty yards than the Vikings today. That's just me. Watching the game for so long, listen, they could come out and play sloppy again. It's definitely possible. But I've watched professional football for a long time. And I'm telling you, the teams that are heavily penalized early in the year, those coaches start sending those tapes into the officiating office, and they're like, hey, look, you need to watch this, this, and this for them, and you're leading the league or in the top 3, top 5. And
no.
That's when they've got to make the adjustment. So I could see it today. I could see it happen.
Guys, don't forget. Here's a guy who loves to be on the camera, standing there talking about penalties.
Talking about the Vikings penalties today. Let's say it that way.
Hopefully. Bill Vinovich, man, there's going to be a lot of flags in this game. I'll tell you that right now. I don't know what the over-under is on penalties, but I love how the first thing you see next to his name when you Google is fixed.
You gotta love that. When I'm 63 years old, I'm going to be on an island somewhere, boys. I'm just going to tell you right now. I'd be darned if I'd be out there and having 70,000 people cuss me out for a call. You know,
I hope somebody hides the flags from Bill today. Just hide his flag.
Billy boy. I'll tell you this, though, man. You can't hide this from Twitter. This is absolutely awesome, man. I tweeted out how blessed are we to have this guy leading the Packers. Jordan Love rocking the Brett Favre jersey today. You can see him walking.
Can we talk about this? How blessed are we that the 90s fashion's coming back, Clayton? Look, we got the baggy jeans. We got the baggy oversized jersey on. Fresh white kicks. I like it, Jordan. I like it. We're going back old school. I love it.
I just love the message it sends,
Oh, yeah.
I really do. It's just, hey, look, serious situation obviously popped up with Favre, with Parkinson's and all that. And you still got some idiotic damn fans out there that are, they're so caught up in their political affiliation that they don't care about another human being's health. I have nothing for you. I'm sorry. If that's one of you guys, let's watch the numbers drop. I could give a damn. To be honest with you, it's just wild. Amen. I don't care what side of the aisle somebody's on. Somebody gets a life threat. I just had a father-in-law pass away from that, and we had to take care of him for 2 years as his whole lifestyle diminished because of that disease. I ain't hearing it, dude. Sorry, ain't doing it. Yep. This is pretty cool too. Brett actually tweeted out, the video, quote tweeted it from the Packers, says, "Big respect to Jordan Love for wearing this old man's jersey. I didn't think I could like Jordan anymore until this morning." Pretty cool stuff there, as Favre acknowledges. And again, just Jordan's way of saying, "Hey, we're with you, Favre. Let's get healthy, man. Let's get
500 yards, 4 tutters today. Let's go."
Hey, dude,
in the first half.
Awesome. In the first half. Can I quick ask the chat a selfish question here, guys?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
This is fantasy related. Tank Dell, one of my starting receivers, he's out today, so I have to choose who I'm putting in. Am I going Andre Losivas, Tyler Lockett, Gabe Davis, George Pickens, Dontavian Wicks? You guys in the chat, let me know, please. Gotta figure that out real quick.
Staying away from that, man.
Isn't it cool too? Like you talked about, I mean, there's been a lot of discussion about how there was Favre and Rodgers drama, and then there's Rodgers and Love drama, and now there's Love and blah 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 drama. It's just crazy that all of them.
It's crazy how people make this crap up in their head.
Well, you know what?
Because if you talk to Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, there is absolutely no drama from either.
No, I think it's fair to say that there was once fire where there was smoke, but the fact that you've now engulfed, you've blown on that fire to the point where it's a non-existent fire unless you just started it. Like you are the arsonist. You know what I mean? And now it's they're trying to take things from each of them, and it's almost a pattern where it was very early in their relationship, and it's a hard thing. Like imagine meeting your boss or your replacement, shaking him in the eye and just, "Thanks, it's gonna be great." Like come on, that's not how human emotions work. But human emotions do end up kind of evening themselves out, especially with time. It's like any sort of rift you've had with your friends or family. It's just like after enough time passes, you realize, man, that wasn't worth it, kind of thing. And now they've got each other's backs to the point where they're literally wearing each other's jerseys. You got Rodgers on what was it, Pat McAfee, where they're trying to get him to dunk on the Bears, and he's like, "You better call Jordan because now he's the owner of that team." Like it's cool how they're all. It seems like it's a family. It's a family.
What it says to me when I see this is like what Clayton said is obviously the respect for Brett Favre and his family, and dealing with what they're dealing with right now. This news is kind of fresh. We just heard about it a couple of days ago, right? I mean, I'm sure they found out a few days before that, maybe recent diagnosis. So it's tough, and it shows solidarity with one of your legends. That's what I see is we've got a young quarterback of the future here. Paying respect to a Green Bay Packer Hall of Famer and an NFL Hall of Famer. And that means something. It means a little more to play football here in Green Bay. And you see things like this. This is exactly why I feel that way about this team. It's one thing to be, a young guy who makes it to the NFL. It's another thing when you get to play in Green Bay, and it's something special. And I think it's really cool to see this, through spanning generations. I mean, Jordan Love was not around for the Brett Favre era. You know what I mean? And, but he knows the magnitude. He understands, who Brett Favre is and what he brought to the game here during his time as a Packer. And it's just a ton of respect from a young man. And I just love it. You got to, no pun intended, right? You absolutely, Jay, love it.
And he stands up for what he likes. Like he's not going to bow to anybody. Like, when there were so many people that were anti-police and this and that, both his parents were police officers. One of the first things he did when he took over as starter was geared to take over as starter, met with law enforcement in the Green Bay area, show that he supports them. Right. And then, like I said, I love that he marches to the beat of his own drum. He doesn't get involved with anything other than football, other than it's just love. It's just support for everyone around him. He's an amazing person, man. I'd love the opportunity to meet his mother one day, because I guarantee you she is an amazing lady. There's no doubt about that. Race the guy that he is. So we're just so fortunate, man. So blessed, like I said, to have him at quarterback, no doubt. So, all right. So that was Jordan Love walking in earlier today. Wes Hawkowitz actually tweeted out a quick little video. Just take a glance around Lambeau here too. Wes Hawkowitz is the best Twitter follow when it comes to the Packers, man, no doubt about it. But this was earlier as the sun was rising over the Lambeau Field. Woo!
That still doing the scoreboard test. I love it.
Yeah,
nice and early.
Wes is another one of those guys who just you could tell he appreciates his job and he appreciates what his responsibilities are. It's almost like it's very much like Larry McCarron. Larry McCarron is kind of an ambassador for the Packers. And that's exactly how Wes Hawkowitz carries himself, man. And for all those people that I'm not a fan, I report on the team. I'm not a fan. That's great. You've told us 723 times. We don't care that you're not a fan. We want someone to cover the team that actually gives a rip about the team the way that the reporters did way back in the day when they were trying to keep this franchise afloat. If those reporters back then approached covering the team the way you're covering the team, constantly trying to stir up drama, the Packers would have never lasted through all those stock drops. That's the reality of the situation there. Yeah. And I don't mean to get heated, but that pisses me off when people are just, well, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Wonderful. How many more times are you going to tell us that this month? Wes Hawkowitz is out here going, I'm so lucky to do what I do, to be around a team. And it's a service to the fans. I just love it. Man. Love it. So
go ahead, Fred McFarlane says Wes is just happy that it's not raining, which I'll forever. It's just such a good clip.
Let's see if he still got that.
Oh, it's got. Does he still got that photo up there from training camp?
Is it not?
I don't see it. I bet I could search it though. I could find it.
That was
that's actually hilarious.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at that right now because it is great.
I can hit a couple chats while you're doing that. Mr. Coach Land says Evan Williams should get a bump in reps today. I hope that's the case. I think that he's deserved it. Another one of those guys that just kind of comes in and balls every single day that we have a game. Brandon Dowd says, what's the deal with Colby Wooden? I thought he looked okay as a backup this year, or I'm sorry, as a backup last year. It seems like this year, I'm putting words in his mouth, but they're not really playing him as much, and he seems to make the inactives list more than he should. I just think it's a factor of how talented we are at that group. I don't think it really has anything to necessarily say against him. I think it's the fact that he is so young. We've got so much good young talent. I could be wrong and saying that the wrong way. Tim, what are your thoughts on Mr. Colby Wooden?
I mean, I would agree with that statement. That was kind of like what I was thinking. You know, when you're in a talent pool like this, it's the same thing we say about our receiver room, right? You know, it's hard there's only so many reps. There's only so many sets that, your skill set might be utilized in. And when you've got 2 or 3 or 4 guys next to you in that position room and they offer those same skills and maybe they offer it at a different varying degrees and levels, it can be hyper competitive to just get reps. It really can. So I don't know if it's so much an indictment on Colby Wooden as it is just, like you're saying, man, look at this talent pool that we have of young players.
That's what Ben's saying. Why LVN Brooks are killing it. I'd argue even too that, they got to have their big man in there with, who am I?
TJ Slayton,
and then you got Clark, and you can't. Yep. There's just so many. You can't have so many players on a certain lineup. We talked about the hockey rotation, like you said, man. Wide receiver and defensive line. They're strong. No matter who we rotate in, you don't have a bad line. It's crazy.
Yes, we got a couple dandies from West Side. Look at him working on his kick step. All right.
Oh man.
So we got that one.
Bakhtiari there, man. Oh my goodness.
Working on it. And then we got the video y'all were talking about here. This is what we were referring to, if I can find it.
I remember this. I was at camp that day.
Basically, the tweet said
it was a monsoon.
Cover the Packers. They said it'll be fun. They said. The sign, the lift off. Crap.
You gotta love it.
West Hawkins.
Just a couple more quick chats here because this one's probably the most important one I've ever read. CJN says, we need more downhill meat missile today at linebacker. Hope to see Cooper get more snaps today. And you know what?
That's the tip, though.
What's your problem, Jacob?
Nothing, dude. I'm being professional. I don't know if this is true, but I highlighted it anyways because if you're going to randomly jump in this chat and make this claim, then Destiny Faith from X says, Jordan Love Stylist here. Thank you guys for sharing. We just wanted to pay homage to a living legend after the news and let him know we got his back.
Let's go.
Honestly,
I love it.
That's pretty cool. If
that's
you are
so
a stylist,
awesome. Shout out to Destiny.
Let's
Great
go.
work. I love the swag today. That is awesome.
Everybody go give Destiny a follow and don't be a creeper, okay? Just go give her a follow, support,
That's
retweet,
true.
all that good stuff.
That's
all right?
true.
No creeping out there.
And the last one here that we got started is from Badger Trio. Oh, I didn't even highlight this one, so this makes me extra happy. We get the GOAT, Kevin Harlan, voice of Packers preseason on game today.
For real?
Right.
For
I believe
CBS?
the game's on CBS, right? So
Is it real?
Yeah,
That's
if we
awesome.
Get
We're
Kevin
gonna have the
Harlan.
volume up today, boys. Let's go.
That's
I
how
ain't listened to a
Struck out with the
broadcast
official, but we got a good announcer team today. We're happy.
Yeah, it balances
I'm
out.
talking
Nice.
about, man.
There you
That's
go.
good stuff. All right. Had this actually from Ryan Wood on Twitter @by Ryan Wood. Aaron Jones getting all kinds of love on the field in the pregame, but he takes a moment to jog over to the sideline so he can slap fives and give hugs to Packer fans. Even stop to sign a child's jersey. That's who he is. Pretty cool here, as you can see. Yeah, just we'll keep the volume down in case somebody's up there cussing about the stadium food and press box. But yeah, it's again, man, cheer him, all that good stuff. Give him the standing ovation, and then when the game starts, make it as difficult as possible on him. Right, that's the way that should work. So can't wait till he comes back and joins the. Obviously, he's inducted into the Packer Hall of Fame. It's absolute living legend. So if you guys would take a quick second, hit that like button for us. Feel free to sub to the channel, share all that good stuff. We appreciate y'all making us part of your pre-game festivities. Go ahead, Jake. What you got?
Now, just speaking of that, Respect Oranges says the show doesn't suck for once, and then Fred quickly says, "Just give it a minute."
You heard it from a fan right here.
Trust me, it's coming. It's right around the corner. Dude. At least 65% of the time.
And also, oh Jesus, don't you son of a! Tell you what,
65%. 65%. That's what.
And then So Turtles goes in, meat missile? Question mark. Where have you been, So Turtles? I feel like you're one of the go-tos of this chat, and you don't know what a human meat missile is?
I believe he's been cheating on us. I think he's
you.
been cheating on us. He's been out there cheating on us, dude. Unbelievable.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
Is a human being that wears green and gold that goes downfield like you shot out of a cannon, and he happens to be human. Again, like I said, and so it's a human flesh rocket missile.
Something like that.
Moving on.
Oh, we got Bates. Bates just sent a shot. Tim, I just think we got our background pick of the day, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
Bates
Where's
is all
United Bates at?
What do you do?
Bates
Here's a guy.
How cool is it if Bates was actually listening to the show from the stands? Look at that
Oh,
shot.
man. Look at this.
Beautiful. Great
Nice
seats, too.
seats. Bates, you're the man. What is that, like row 6? Jeez.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, you can't
Go
hide
for it.
credit. You can't hide credit. Let's go, man. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
That's
I
a good
love
looking
that.
crowd there too, man. What was the weather forecast? We haven't even hit that yet, have we? Let's look real quick.
It's
We're all over
low
it.
70s and sunny. It was a little
All right,
cool.
so this morning it was
Ooh.
62. So at kickoff, we're looking at 72, 74, 75. And then as you guys are staggering back to your cars, it'll be 76 degrees. So absolutely beautiful weather, partly cloudy there in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Man, can't wait. So here is some of the information we had on Jordan here. Tom Pelissero tweeted out, Packers quarterback Jordan Love is expected to wear a brace on his left knee today against the Vikings. His first start since suffering an MCL sprain in the September 8th opener. Sources say Love took the majority of practice reps and looked better and better as the week went on. Go time. So there you go, man. Obviously, Jordan Love ready to roll. With the brace, I don't know how much that's going to limit his mobility. When you hear brace, Tim, you think of the big bulky ones like we're used to seeing linemen wear. This is just a smaller device on the outside of the knee, it seems like. So I don't think it's going to limit his mobility much. However, I could see the coaches being like, "Hey, Jordan, listen, let's don't stress it too much. Let's stay in the pocket, hit the read, find the hots on the blitzes. Let's play within the system. Don't try to do too much."
I would think a lot of little 3-step drop type of plays to kind of start the game, right? Little quick short passes, get in rhythm. But when it comes to the brace, man, yeah, it's a great point, Clayton. These are not the big, monstrous braces of the past that we've seen. We saw Tom Brady wear something like that when he blew out his knee. He had the big trying to hide it under a sock, and you could he looked like one of the Terminator robots or something. But now Jordan's had this device on, I believe, the better part of the last 2 weeks, right? We're almost at 10 plus days that when he was practicing, he's had this on. So he's gotten some simulated reps. He's worked out with this on, probably without it on as well, depending on whatever his regimen is for the rehab. But I would think at this point he's probably just getting used to that thing being on his knee. And so I don't really see it being a major issue for him as far as feel and comfortability out there. But I think they're going to ease him into this game. And I would hope by the, end of that first or second series, he's, kind of shaking any kind of rust that might be there. He's shaking that off. And we're unleashing the full gamut of Jordan Love here early in the first quarter. And we're back to where we want to be with our QB1. That's how I feel about the whole thing, looking at it.
Definitely. And with all the weather going on across the country right now, obviously it's shaking things up everywhere. It sounds like it's a little windy out there at Lambeau, maybe. Just had this pop up here. If I can drop this down. There we go. Bill Huber said Braden Narvison getting a Lambeau Field kicking lesson during pregame. It's a northeast wind, so should be helpful kicking to the south end, but it's not. 3 straight short from 51 and 52, ball just dies in that direction. So you're out there trying to figure out your range, obviously, looking like it's probably going to be, hey, anything over 50 might be a little iffy today with the way the wind is. Did it feel windy out there this morning, Tim, when you were there?
Yeah, it was breezy. You could see the flags flying pretty strong, and it was deceivingly cool this morning when I was out there. We got out there about little after 8 o'clock this morning. And if you were in the shade, you were chilly. So, by high noon here, we'll have high sun, and the wind though, if it's not going to relax at all, that's going to become a fact. And it affects both teams, right?
Absolutely. Let's
be honest. So, you may see the ranges shorten up, and depending on what direction you're kicking, from my perspective, I would rather deal with a headwind than a left to right or a right to left wind personally.
Looking at the
harder or take something off of it, but if you got crosswinds, it's tough.
Yeah, looking at the Weather Channel, this is what they're saying for the hourly, starting at 12 noon, which is obviously kickoff. Northeast 12 miles an hour, northeast 12 miles an hour, northeast 12 miles an hour, northeast 12 miles an hour. So
consistent throughout the game.
12 mile an hour the entire game looks like.
So northeast. So if you're kicking right-footed facing north, that ball's going to be wanting to go right on you. So look for guys to maybe try to overcorrect in that direction, and you could see someone shank one wide left, trying to overcompensate for a 10 to 12 mile an hour wind. I mean, that's significant enough to affect the kicking game. I mean, we're not talking 5 mile an hour gusts or anything crazy, but it's something to look at. And like I always say, hopefully we put tutters on the board all day long. We don't need to worry about the field goal game.
You guys worried about that affecting the long ball at all as well, or some of the passing game?
It could. I feel very comfortable seeing Jordan Love has a stronger arm than Sam Darnold. Which when we looked at the throw chart too earlier, if you'll notice, like if you start week 1, a couple deep balls there, right? That's huge. Week 2. Couple deep balls right down the seam. One of those was a 97-yard touchdown pass. So he kind of caught the defense loading the box there. And then last game didn't have any success over 20 yards at all. So just something to kind of keep an eye on there. When we're talking kicker, though, I'll tell you someone who didn't miss a whole lot of kicks is our boy Chris Jackie. Look at him on Twitter. He said, let me jump into this right here real quick. Green Bay Packers World Championships, 1929, 30, 31, 36, 39, 44. 61, 62, 65. We'll be right back from a commercial break. 66, 67, 96, 2010. And Minnesota Vikings World Championships, he just put a big old LOL.
Yeah, I'm counting them. They're all there on the wall.
They're all there?
Fans? Yep,
they're still there, Tim? Okay.
All 13. 14's on the way.
Tim, double check there. We're good. I promise. They're all up.
You heard it from a fan right here.
All right. What else you got, Jacob?
Just real quick, Ben Holden's giving a shout out, kind of like you did, just saying praying for everyone in Tennessee and Kentucky. There's some crazy stuff going on, flooding, result of the hurricane and all that kind of stuff, obviously. So just thoughts and prayers to those types of situations that are unfortunately happening.
Yeah, they don't call it the volunteer state for nothing, man. These people, when stuff happens, they band together. It's absolutely awesome. I know North Carolina, I'd seen a good friend who lives in Asheville, which just got devastated. They've got some roads open now, so they're getting people more help in and out. The problem was the interstates collapsed all around Asheville, so you couldn't get in and out. Well, you should have seen the people rolling up on the trailers with the ATVs. They were coming out of the sticks before where it was like, oh, he'll get there. What do y'all need to take up there? So, everybody banding together. But, yeah, thank you. Appreciate that, man. A lot of people affected here.
And just real quick, Omer says, this is a game Stokes needs to prove why the Packers should re-sign him and why he was handed the CB2 in training camp. I think that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is arguably maybe one of his biggest matchups of his career. Just the fact that Jair's out and that he's, like we just talked about, it's not like he's going to be shadowing or anything, but I would say that between our corners, I'd like if we have to be, if they're saying you have to have a couple corners that are going to be your premier match man corners, I'd probably say Stokes and Ballantyne would be the two I'd pick. So, we'll see. I don't know what Hafley's got in store as far as the breakdowns of the percentages of what he's going to run, but I'm weirdly confident in the fact that I shouldn't say confident that Jair's not playing. I'm weirdly confident in the fact that I'm not worried that he's not playing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, when you got, like I said, when you got so much depth on a roster, and again, you've seen it before with Ballantyne coming out and playing well. Obviously, we're talking about Jair Alexander with the quad growing, unlikely to play. He's now inactive. Roster elevations this week. We called up who was it again? Kamal Haddon and Robert Rochelle. Robert Rochelle, kind of that special teams guy. Kamal Haddon, who knows, man? They may see him as a little bit of a slot. They might just see him on the boundary. But I think the way you're going to see this play out, based off of the success we've seen last year, your two slot corners are going to be Keyshawn Nixon and Corey Ballantyne in that order. That's probably how that's going to shake out. And then along the boundary, you'll have obviously Corey Ballantyne will play on the boundary. But if you need, let's say Keyshawn got banged up, right? You could go one of two ways. If Keyshawn gets banged up and he has to come out of the game, you can put Bullard in the slot and bring Evan Williams in the game. I would lean towards that. Or you could put Corey Ballantyne in the slot, leave everybody else set, and you'd have to bring in maybe someone like Kamal Haddon or someone like that to help fill some of those snaps on the boundary. Me personally, I'm not too concerned about it, man. Again, this game is going to be decided by stopping the run. You've got to stop the run. That's the total focal point right here. So, the other thing, too, here real quick, we've actually got Bates with some more images he just shared. So you see J Love on the field here. This came in from Bates. My man. And again, look at the knee there. You see it on the outside. It's not bulky at all. You can see the device right there. So
great shot there, Bates. I love it.
Bates and his journalistic standards over there. Let me tell you something.
I love the true fans that get in there early and get to see the pregame. You don't want to get too many daddy sodas in you in the parking lot, and then you're in that big line with everyone else trying to rush in. You end up getting in 3 minutes into the first quarter.
Yeah.
So shout out to Bates, man. That's how you get great shots like this. This is awesome.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He's got another one here too. I think he sent. Let's see what this is. See, just another shot of J Love here. Look at Buckus, my man Buckus, boy. He's been my man been on the brats here.
Look at Tupac LaFleur walking up to Rasheed Walker.
Yeah, like, hey, man.
Hey, man, we can't get any flags today, man.
We're going to tape your fingers today. How about
is that Rasheed or is that Rasheed?
It might be Monk.
Is that 62?
Yeah, that might be Monk, 62. You're right.
Oh, is it? Oh, I looked.
It's kind of hard to tell with the sun glare in there.
Yeah.
I thought Monk was bigger than that, though. Monk must have shed a little weight.
That's a good point.
He gave it to his coach.
Oh, he said, hold that, Coach Buckus. Hold that. So
yeah, chat's yelling at us. Yes, we know it's Monk now.
Okay, it's Monk. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
God.
Love it. Absolutely perfect drop there.
The whole chat looked at me like.
Yeah.
All right. Again, just a quick glance at the injury report. Obviously, they already ruled out Ivan Pace Jr. I don't think there was anyone else ruled out on this list. Have you guys heard of anyone else being ruled out? I think that was pretty much it.
I know for sure he's out, but Garrett Bradbury would be a big one. If for some reason he can't go, that would be that'd be a big one. But, dude, Ivan Pace Jr. is a big loss for them. It really is. I think he's their best linebacker.
All right. Now, one of the keys to this game, in my opinion, turnover differential. Obviously, Green Bay's leading the league at plus 2.3. The Vikings are in sixth place at plus 0.7. So you win the turnover battle, you really, really like your chances in this game. If you can come out positive in turnover differential, obviously explosives are a big part of the game too. Green Bay leads the league at 14.1% of their plays being explosive plays. The Vikings are 10th at 10.2. Jacob, don't you dare laugh at our neighbors down there in Chicago.
I'm just saying that's such a slight diss right there that they're just nonchalantly. Here's Green Bay. Oh, and by the way,
still suck.
Exactly.
What's crazy is how far below they are. Below.
They're almost double the worst.
Right.
They're almost double the second.
The Chiefs are 31st at 5.4%. The Bears are 3.3%. So
the Bears are we might need to double check that list and check the metrics, and then Pack Daddy comes in
edit D's. How about that?
Exactly. Let's see. Now, one of the reasons that the explosives have really taken off, even though Malik Willis, we've been kind of focused on the run game, but even through week 1-2, one of the big misconceptions is where's Christian Watson been? He hasn't been effective this year. Boys, he's leading the team in passer rating when targeted right now. Actually, he's 6th in the entire National Football League, passer rating when targeted. The difference between this first quarter of this season and the first quarter of last season, we're not forcing the ball to Christian, and it's working out absolutely beautifully. That catch right there, man, you talking about bringing the juice in that Titans game on that opening drive when he hauls in that jump ball right in front of us where we were sitting, it was absolutely awesome. So leading the Packers is Christian Watson, 148.8. Like I said, that's 6th best in the league out of 109 receivers. I think this is according to PFF maybe. Jaden Reed, passer rating when targeted, 137.5. That's 11th best. Romeo Dobbs, 111.9. That's 31st best. And then Dontavion Wicks, 79.4, is 72nd best in the league. So what you've got here, if you removed everything but passer rating when targeted, you've got 3 number 1 caliber wide receivers right now with Christian Watson. Obviously, Jaden Reed, a much larger sample size, I would imagine, as far as targets than Christian Watson. But still, man, you're starting to see your top 2 receivers, man. When you think of Romeo Dobbs being your number 3 receiver, and I'm not saying he's the 3rd best receiver on this team, but when you simply look at the stats and go, hey, that's the guy who's maybe matched up on their 3rd best corner, I like my odds there. I really do.
His receiving is tough.
It is, Brett. Anything else, Jacob? You got anything else in the chat?
Chat's pretty much caught up now.
Right, good deal.
One thing, though, Drew D just mentioned, which is good, kind of to your point. He says Watson also opens up other guys by stretching the field. So the most important thing Watson has done is stay healthy so far. Knock on wood. Maybe that specialist helped. Again, knock on wood. I don't even want to jinx it further.
Hey, give Harrison Smith somebody to follow around all day. Let's just drag him out of the box and deep all day long. Open it up underneath for our other guys.
Yes.
No doubt. We're going to crank this. Listen, there may be language on this video, but we're going to risk it. We're going to risk it for a biscuit here, all right? If you got kids in the room, earmuff it. But here is Jordan Love and the offense looking to take the field here.
Jordan!
My man looks locked in.
Yep. Go Pack. I love it.
Raising them right, baby.
Hey, guys, it's important to remember this is his home debut this year as well.
It's true.
No matchup. Let's go. Great shot there. You see Tupac LaFleur just jogging out at the end to lead the boys out. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting nervous, dude.
I'm not nervous at all. I'm with Clayton. He looks locked the hell in right now.
He does, man. I tell you what, listen, we have all cheered on and loved Malik Willis. There was a little bit of something in Jordan's voice in that locker room interview earlier in the week. I think I could do that too. I think he's out to prove some people wrong today. Because believe it or not, there were some Packer fans going, I think we should start Malik Willis. Malik Willis is better than Jordan.
A lot of them, actually. Which
I think my man is going to come out and get ready to prove a point today. I'm really excited about it.
Let's go. I'm fired up. I love it. That says it all right there. You talk about game face. There's your game face.
Mm-hmm.
All business. Let's go.
Definitely. All right. Anything else we need to hit on? Did we miss anything, fellas? Anything at all that you can think of here? We got a couple more tweets coming in. I'll continue to comb through. But anything else you want to hit on, Jacob?
No, man. I get nervous before every game. I'm starting to burp up the Mickey D's breakfast I had today. Which I'm just saying, man.
That's your first problem. Man. You can't be.
Oh, they got this new steak, egg, bacon, or a steak, egg, and cheese sandwich. It's so bad and it's so good at the same time.
So bad and it's so good.
Yeah,
we had there goes the sponsorship.
we had Cracker Barrel delivered to the house. So we had biscuits and gravy and some sausage and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm hurting. And I told Manny already, go ahead and get DoorDash on the line. We're doing Pizza Hut stuff across today. I'm gonna come out of this one gaining 600 pounds. It's gonna be awesome.
He not only rambled, but he rumbled and stumbled.
I'll be stumbling down these steps by the end of the game. I promise you that. But here was Bill Huber tweeting out Jordan Love in warm-ups here. On a little route to Christian Watson. So look at the plant leg, everything. Looks good.
Real quick in the chat. Yeah, guys, throw us up the score predictions. We didn't do that. Definitely haven't touched on that. We forgot.
My score prediction is Packers win the game. That's my prediction.
There you go. There you go.
I'm going to go 27-13 Packers.
Nice. I like it.
Pack by 1,000.
You know me. I don't do predictions. I just it's just I don't really play that game. But I think that it's going to be a close game. I think that's going to come down to the turnover differential as it always does.
Yep.
You got to first and foremost you got to shut down Aaron Jones. Fred McFarley 24-20 Packers. I could see it being that kind of game. I could. Good weather, right? It's Coach Lynn. Cracker Barrel went out of business in North Cali. What's going on out there, Coach?
California. I tell you what.
Unbelievable. Don't you start with me, Jacob. Don't you do this.
Just saying.
Jason Hughes. Packers 24-17, says Jason Yu.
Game on. Coming in with the real good pick, 77-0.
I love it. I love it.
I got to hit him with one of these.
You heard it from a fan right here.
CJN 24-17. I could see it.
Hey, Mike Clements is in the chat.
Hey, 21-10 Packers. All right, Mike. Let's do this real quick while you're going through the rest of those. This is as good a time as any. Let's give a quick shout out to the sponsors today. That's the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since 92, specializing in Packers tickets. They're Wisconsin's largest ticket source. Offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Use the link in the video description to send you to their website where you can go ahead and register for free as a customer and go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, that's Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. All right. Anything else, Jacob?
I want to shout out to my Uncle Mike real quick if I can. He's out. He's in Green Bay. He's driving the bus today. So I think he's at a parking lot somewhere near Lambeau Field, hopefully, or probably closer to the mall or something like that. But go Pack Go. Hopefully he's going to find a place to watch the game. Otherwise, he can listen to our phenomenal radio coverage as well. So looking forward to hopefully bumping into him maybe after the game. We'll see. So,
you were talking about the Packers radio. I thought you were talking about our coverage. I was like, don't do that, Uncle Mike.
Are we doing play-by-play now, Clayton? We're going to do
I immediately thought I didn't sign up for that. What are we doing here, Ted? So,
now, here's some guys trying to
Wayne Larrabee and Larry McCarron, man, it don't get any better than that. Every time I look at the TV on pregame, I'm seeing Jordan Love in the Favre jersey, and I can't tell you how happy it makes me, man.
Oh, man, I love that.
Absolutely awesome, man.
I love it.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Anything else? Anything else at all, fellas?
No, I'm going to go throw up and get ready for this game, man.
All right. Well, this has been a fun one, man. This is one of the more enjoyable pregame shows we've ever done. Guys, I'm going to get the link up immediately. Hop over. I think Ryan is going to be doing a live stream on PackerNet YouTube channel. So you want to watch along with him. I'll get the link created to our post-game show. Sometimes guys like to hop in there, put their comments throughout the game in the post-game show link. Like I said, you can comment, but the stream won't be live until after the game. So we'll get that set up there.
Roughly what time are we going? Just right after the game?
Pretty much right after the game, yeah. Listen, the rules are always the same. If it's a win, we'll go live fairly quick. If it's a loss, we got like a 15, 20-minute window to cool off because we're all passionate fans, and we'll get in here and talk about what happened, why it happened, all that good stuff. So CJN says hit that like button. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for doing the dirty work. All right. Everybody be safe out there. Enjoy the game. And Tim, help me out here, man.
Go Pack Go. Stop the run. Get off the field on third down. And
wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
That works for me, man. We don't want to see these guys too much today. Thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. And go, Pack. Go. Didn't have the video ready. Sorry. See y'all.